This is episode number 172 of the Guns Magazine podcast. Hi there, and welcome to the Guns Magazine podcast, one of the shooting world's biggest gun talk programs. I'm your host and the editor of Guns Magazine, Brent Wheat. Thanks for joining us as we talk to the interesting folks who make up the world of shooting, hunting, law enforcement, and the firearms industry. Before we get started, let's hear a quick word from our sponsor, For Patriots. Let's face it, if you don't have electricity, you're living in the Stone Age. But with the Patriot Power Sidekick from For Patriots, you get a solar generator that doesn't need installation. It's quick, easy, and portable, on the go, or even inside. The Patriot Power Sidekick is small, about the size of a lunchbox, but it's powerful. Powerful enough for your phones, medical devices, or even a mini fridge. The setup comes with a free solar panel, free shipping, a 365-day satisfaction guarantee, and best of all, you get 10% off your first purchase by typing in the code GUNMAG at checkout. That's forpatriots.com. Use the code GUNMAG. We'd also like to welcome a new supporting sponsor, iPal. Here's a simple product for all iron sight shooters. Simply attach the static cling iPal peep sight to your prescription or safety eyewear on your dominant eye and get a focused sight picture. Plain and simple, this aperture resolves difficult vision issues for shooters. Go to ipalusa.com to get your kit today. Last week, Tom, McHale, and I gave a rundown of some of the new auto pistols you'll be seeing in 2023, and today we're going to follow up with revolvers. Tom's a huge wheel gun fan, and in this episode, we discuss his findings from the floor of this year's Shooting, Hunting, and Outdoor Trade Show in Las Vegas. So here we go with Tom McHale and our rundown of some of the great new revolvers for 2023. Well, good afternoon, Tom.
Good afternoon.
Well, I'm going to say it. Welcome to the Festival of Mucus, Part 2. You didn't expect me to say that, did you?
I did not, but
yeah.
I knew about that, but I did not expect that.
Well, at least I'm still not over this thing, and it's crazy. So again, going in, apologies if I sound like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And but we're going to keep charging forward. So
you know what? You're not supposed to rechew that gum on the bottom of stair rails.
Yeah, that
is not free candy. Just FYI.
You mean licking the handle of the carts at Walmart is bad for you? Actually, that's what I may start doing to build my immunity.
You know that social distancing rule that really didn't make a whole lot of sense, but everybody was all enamored with?
Yeah.
That still applies for Walmart shopping carts. You can't get within 6 feet of one.
I don't know. It's crazy, but hey, we're charging ahead. And 2 weeks ago, we did a podcast on the new guns from the SHOT Show, the Shooting, Hunting, Outdoor Trade Show in Las Vegas that recently concluded. And we talked about the auto pistols, and Tom basically backed me into a corner and said we had to do the revolver version. So here we are. So
it was blackmail.
It was, but that's good.
You know what? When you get somebody to make a commitment in public, it's amazing what the success rate on that is. The follow through just happens. So.
Exactly. So here we are. So the Shooting, Hunting, Outdoor Trade Show in Las Vegas, for those that don't know, that's the big kahuna of the year in the firearms industry. All the new stuff comes out, and we go and find out about all the cool stuff. So as I've said before, we had a full schedule at SHOT this year. We had a booth in the Radio Row, and you and I both did a lot of live broadcasts from there. But even when we weren't broadcasting, I got stuck there a lot by people just coming by. So I didn't make it to the floor. So as we were getting ready for this episode, Tom said, so what did you see? Like, when it comes to revolvers, virtually nothing. So I'm not going to be a lot of help on this.
We can do snarky commentary.
I plan on it. That's about all I'm good for. So
when are you going to figure out that plan was intentional? I figured the less time I spent near Radio Row, the more time you'd be stuck there and couldn't do anything about it, really.
Well, here's how this episode's going to go. Go.
Okay. You know what? I can actually sum up SHOT Show pretty succinctly.
Yes.
There was definitely a number of new wheel guns out there, but the succinct part of that is Taurus / Rossi are going nuts in the revolver world.
They are.
You probably did see or hear about some of that.
Yes.
Even though you were stuck, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people were pretty quiet on the revolver front, but they came out with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, half dozen or so between them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't added them up yet, but quite a handful of new products.
Their Raging Hunter line is becoming a real player, especially in the real big bores.
Dirty Harry has a new opportunity here.
Ah.
Well, you know what? I was going to say, a joke about the most powerful handgun in the world, but it keeps changing, like literally with all the variables and ammo. Because the Raging Hunter, they're doing both 460 and 500s.
Yeah.
And depending on the loading and the bullet weight and how you want to measure energy or momentum or whatever, I don't even know. I don't know if it's knowable what the most powerful handgun in the world is anymore.
Yep, exactly.
The Rolands and all this stuff floating around out there, but
yep.
But you're right; those are cool. They're massive, gigantic, and kind of super fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I keep trying to set up a pig hunt with one of those, and I just haven't got it done yet. But I'm really looking forward to. So let's toddle back into the SHOT Show and run by the Taurus booth. So what did you see there, Tom?
Well, it's kind of a combined booth with the Rossi stuff was there too, but let's start with the Taurus side. In the fairly newish front, I don't think it was technically announced at SHOT Show, but they've got this new executive grade 38 special revolver, which is pretty darn nifty. Jeremy Clow did a story for us in American Handgunner on that gun, and he was pretty impressed with it. And he's a stickler. He's a kind of a trained gunsmith by trade, and he had a heck of an experience with that gun. Good stuff, and cool. At a good, reasonable price point, which is more important than ever these days. But they seem to have done it right. Kind of shaved off the hammer spur. Walnut checkered grips, serrated front sights, 6 rounds of 38 special, kind of a hand tuned trigger, and just kind of the extras that you'd expect with a much pricier gun. I don't remember the retail price offhand, but it Taurus, that's kind of their business model,
right?
Especially nowadays, especially over the past couple of years, they have really turned around and are making solid guns for fair prices.
That was the next point I was going to get to, that, we've said it before, mainly in reference to their auto pistols, but the Taurus of today is not the Taurus of 10 years ago. It's just not. No, and
not at all.
I don't hesitate. I've said I have carried one of their guns as a daily carry gun. So, they've really invested in the quality of their products. So no issues with Taurus.
No, it's it's good stuff, and I expect they're going to continue kind of expanding this executive grade concept to other pistols in the family. Well, actually, they already have.
Yeah,
I'm getting ahead of myself. They and here's where we go off the rails. Just to give you a heads up.
Thank you.
They're actually also announced the executive grade judge. And if you ever want to start a bar fight, just talk about, and I'll say loosely, judge / governor. Taurus came out with this thing first, obviously with the judge, and Smith & Wesson came along with the governor sometime after that. A lot of people are fanatical about those and absolutely love them. I'm not one of them.
I'm not either, unfortunately.
And nothing about the Taurus, just the concept. I'm just not a fan of.
Exactly. But you're right. It's people that have them just absolutely won't hear of that. But I've just never been a big fan. It's kind of like, if you want a 410, get a shotgun. If you want a 45, get a single action. And if you need the shotgun capabilities in a small gun, buy some shot shells for your 45. But I don't know. It doesn't do anything good. And it's just kind of
that worked out beautifully, because I wanted to say that, but I kind of felt bad saying that, because after saying all these nice things about Taurus, and so you said it.
Yeah, I got no
So I
problem
can
with the
just
quality.
coast on your coattails with that.
I'm always getting in trouble, so I might as well have been first. You were right behind me, Tom, as I jumped through that door. But no, I just think the overall concept, and again, I won't call people that carry them stupid or anything like that. I'm not that over the top with it. I just don't think it really solves any problem. But having said that, if you got a judge or a governor, good for you. I'm glad it works out for you, but I just personally don't see it. So,
yeah, I think the key for me is the whole rifling thing. To rifle or not to rifle? That is the question, right?
yeah,
You want shotgun type performance in a short or a longer gun. You kind of want a smooth bore,
Yep.
for whatever it is you're shooting, slug or buckshot or birdshot. If you want to shoot a solid something or other, like a 45 Colt, you want a rifled barrel.
Yeah.
And where you get kind of wrapped around the axle is trying to do one in the opposite platform. You know?
Yep.
Shot and small shot, especially in a rifled barrel, just doesn't perform really well.
Yeah.
It really literally just kind of flings it out there.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
It is kind of interesting, though. You look at longer platform shotguns, and everybody's been working for years and years, like think Federal Flight Control, WAD technology. They've all been working to try and keep as tight of a pattern as possible. Yeah. And here we go. It's like, hey, let's put it in a rifled barrel and fling it far and wide.
Yep.
Okay, but we're getting off revolvers.
We are.
Let me rephrase. I'm getting off revolvers. So my bad. Mea culpa.
Well, once again, this is kind of like we're standing on the edge of a building and you pushed me off, and I seem to willingly take that step. So good job, Tom.
Here's something for you. Let's come back.
Okay.
So I seem to recall that you're kind of slowly but steadily becoming a fan of the TV set on your pistol concept.
Absolutely.
Right?
Total convert.
And for those of you who haven't listened to Gun Cranks, we're talking about red dot sights on handguns. That's kind of moving into the revolver world now. Taurus has another. We're kind of all talking Taurus, but as I said at the beginning, they had a slew of announcements, so we got to cover this. The 605 Taurus is actually built for an optic.
Yeah.
I would describe it as a self-defense oriented gun. It's a 3-inch barrel, 5-shot revolver. But it's built for that optic.
Yep. And there were guys doing this competition wise years and years and years ago, back when the TV sets were the size of a TV set. But now the technology has advanced. So it strikes me as odd, but I don't know why. It's just one of those things, I guess, because it's going against what I'd call tradition as opposed to anything where I can find fault with it.
You know what? That's an excellent point, because I had the exact same reaction when I saw it, and I was like, that's kind of silly. And then I stopped and I thought about it for a second. I said, no, it's not.
Yeah.
If you like a revolver, there's a lot of great reasons to use a revolver for anything. Yep. Self-defense included, or home defense, or fun and range playing, whatever it is. It can do it all. And hey, if it helps you see your target better, why not?
Well, and really, I guess it's kind of a marriage made in heaven, because I've often pointed out to anybody that will listen, the older eyes that we men of a certain age sport are made for optics on pistols. It just, I'm shooting better than I've shot for a long time, because I actually see the aiming device now. And,
me too.
Older guys tend to be the ones that like revolvers. That's not saying there's not 20-year-old out there that aren't carrying them, but for the most part, it's the older guys, the gray beards. And so if you have these aging eyes that go along with the graying beard, this seems like a thing. So again, it just feels weird to me, but I couldn't tell you one single legitimate reason why.
Yep, me either. And I kind of came around pretty quickly on that, saying, okay, that makes sense. I kind of like to try one.
Yeah.
So, at some point.
Well, I know a magazine you could print the story in.
Really?
Yeah.
Do they pay well?
We pay fantastic.
Oh, even better. Okay.
Especially for you.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
That big zero I put on the pay sheet.
Well, we could each get one and have a little shoot off, right?
We've talked about doing that, and we never do.
I know. I want to do it with the Traditions cannons. Is it? I think it's Traditions, right? Where you build the cannon kit, you build like a miniature cannon.
Can we put an optic on
Army versus Navy, man.
That would be fun.
I'll let you pick your branch of service. You can have first dibs.
Did you hear me? Can we put a pick rail and an optic on them?
Optic cannon. That
would be pretty cool. Okay, we're, as usual, what always happens to us, we end up
what else?
spinning off the rails. So
let's move into Rossi. Rossi had a pair of revolvers that are kind of nifty. I believe it's the RP63. It's kind of they're both 357 Magnums, stainless steel. But the difference, one is kind of a carry / defensive configuration, and the other is more of a competition / plinking / recreation configuration. So the RP63 is kind of a 3-inch barrel platform, 357 mag. Going from memory here, but I think it's kind of rubberized grips on that, as I recall. Kind of neat. And I think, and I'm not 100% on this, but I think Caleb Giddings, he's a competitive shooter and was in Top Shot a while back. He's working over there now, and I think he came up with was pushing him to come up with a new grip profile, as I recall. I got to find out more about it, but it was kind of an interesting take. Where again, don't quote me on this, but I'm fairly certain that you'll be able to order these pistols with your choice of grip configuration, kind of a more traditional, rounded rubberized, or this new grip configuration they're talking about. So we'll have to come back with more information on that later.
Very cool.
Then the second one is the I'll loosely call it the competitive model, and that's a 6-inch barrel. So the gist there is to kind of get the full performance out of the 357 Magnum, with the longer barrel platform.
Yeah.
Also a 6-shot, revolver. But this one has adjustable sights. The other was fixed.
Yeah.
So, just different packagings of the classic 357. Love to see that.
Well, and, we can't get into all the backstory, the business stuff, but you're going to see more from Rossi moving forward.
Yes, you are. They are on fire.
They are.
Their would you call it a renewal?
Yeah.
Refresh, a second wind. They're just, they're going crazy. So,
yep.
And you know what? The prices are attractive too. And I'm talking retail prices for these two revolvers are pretty close to almost just shy of $500 for the 3-inch barrel and just shy of $600 for the 6-inch barrel model. So
yeah, exactly.
On the street price, you're going to see something even better than that.
And, you're talking a price point for a wheel gun, which, if you look at maybe other comparable models, you're talking several hundred more. So these are getting close to a higher end polymer 9 kind of thing. So be interesting to see if maybe those younger guys do start going, everything old is new again. So one of these days it'll probably be, have you seen these things that they have a cylinder and you put bullets in them and they go bang? And they'll be on our competitors' covers saying, "We've just found this, the newest, latest, greatest." Well, kids, we've been on the wheel gun bandwagon since there was a bandwagon.
Hey, speaking of that concept, that you just did a great segue into another one that I thought was kind of cool. This might classify, fall into the same classification as kind of turn your head for a second and then go, that kind of makes sense. So, Taylor's and Company, they make neat single action repros and all that. They've got one out now called the TC9.
Yes.
And by the name, I bet you can guess what it's chambered for. Come on, put yourself on record. Guess.
What?
It's a single action 1873 Cattleman, but it's called the TC9.
Yep.
TC9.
And if you look in the Guns Magazine issue of, I believe,
you did
May. Yes, absolutely. We did it. It may even be 2 months ago or 3 months ago. I can't remember. I mean, not published, but in our workflow, it's either out there or it's going to soon be out there. Roy Huntington got hot and frothy about it, and then he loaded up a whole bunch of crazy stuff, including 9mm wad cutters, and it's fun. He still just was having a ball with all that. So it will be in a current or upcoming edition of Guns Magazine.
I love this concept. There are going to be haters out there who are going to say, "Oh, you're bastardizing a classic platform." Yeah. You know what? The gun, it looks like the 1873 single action, we all know and love. But why not? You know, you got, I won't say ammo is readily available of any kind, but more readily available.
9mm is pretty close.
Cost effective is 9mm, and everybody has something in 9mm.
Yep.
Why not? Light recoil, funds, bring the joy of single action six gunning to all the new guys out there, the youngsters and youths. And
yep.
Well, this is another moment in history. It's if I heard you, if I'm inferring what you just said correctly, you, me, and Roy all agree that this is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't shot one yet. But I'm anxious to. So it sounds like Roy was the lucky one who got his hands on one of these early. So I'll have to ask him about that.
Roy is always plugged in.
So random question for you, and it's revolver related. Does your new $6 million bionic knee allow you to shoot heavier recoil revolvers? Because if it does, Smith & Wesson has a newish one out in straight wall cartridge, but a really big one called 350 Legend.
Yep.
The AR crowd's probably very familiar with that because it's sized, with the same overall cartridge length or close enough to 223. So you could stick it in an AR-15 platform, but Smith & Wesson has put it in the X frame. Yeah. So some people are saying this is the most powerful handgun in the world. I don't know, but I don't think so. But kind of a neat idea.
Honestly, okay, this is I hesitate to say this because you're going to go, oh, you're just being Tommy tough guy. Handgun recoil, I'm at the age it doesn't bother me yet. Now, I'm starting to get some arthritis in both thumbs. I'm probably from keyboarding rather than shooting, but I'm sure shooting is part of it, but I've just not ever been very recoil sensitive. Now, that will change one of these days, I'm sure. But no, I want to give it a shot, and I've not broke down in tears after firing, the 460, the 500, the 454, and all those various and sundry world's most powerful cartridges. But I think it's more a matter of proper body position and mind over matter. Now, I'm not going to stand there and take a course and shoot 500 rounds of it. That would be stupid. But couple of wheels of it, it'd be okay.
Well, before the arthritis gets too bad, we got another one for you to check out, while you can still shoot the big monsters.
Yeah.
The Magnum Research Thunder Snub BFR.
Okay, that just scares me. Well,
wait till you hear the chambering. You ready?
Yeah.
4570 government.
Oh my Lord. Really?
Okay, so you have to do this. You have to look up a picture of this thing on the interwebs.
Wow.
It's a 3.5 pound revolver, and the cylinder I think is longer than the barrel. And it's not really a snub configuration. I guess for that caliber, it's technically kind of a snubby, but
everything I just said, strike that. Yeah. We're just going to edit that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't even imagine.
Those Derringers that they made in 4570. I know a guy that fired one without a glove, and he ripped the webbing of his hand. Had to go to a surgeon. Yes. And did a bunch of other damage.
Wow. So this isn't one you want to dual wield, two of them. Yeah.
Well, maybe. And I'm sure, you take it down to your local IPSC match or whatever. It'd be great just smacking steel and putting holes in the steel.
Yeah, actually. Okay. So if you really want to renew your man card, what you do is you shoot a steel challenge match with one of these guys.
If you can do that.
5 stages, 5 strings per stage, right? If I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. No problem. Spend $3,000 on ammo for one outing, but.
And well, then how much are the medical bills going to be afterwards? Good golly.
Yeah, I kind of want to try one. I don't think I'd want to own one, but
I was going to say, I'll try one. I kind of
want to try it.
To say I did.
Yep, exactly.
I will reserve, the right to whimper and possibly draw a tear after that one. It just sounds awful. So.
You know what? We've been talking about all this pain. Let's go to the other end of the spectrum.
Oh, okay. Mouse guns?
How about maybe fun guns?
Okay.
So Colt.
Yes.
Has got, now I have not shot one of these yet, but apparently a new Colt King Cobra target and 22 long rifle.
Yes.
A 10 round cylinder. So there's not much more fun than a 22 revolver.
Yep.
You know what I love about 22 revolvers is the flexibility in ammo.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite guns of all is a Ruger single six, and I love it because I can shoot high velocity. I can shoot standard stuff. I can shoot those 60 grain subsonics. I can shoot Calibris that are primer only, no powder.
Yeah.
What are they, like 300 feet per second or something? It's like a pellet gun, but they sure are fun though. You know, those are ones you can legitimately shoot in a garage safely. You know, with a reasonable backstop. But anyway, so I'm looking forward to checking out that Colt. Nice.
You and I handled it, remember, at their booth. And it's a beautiful gun. And
Hogue grips and stainless steel. And
I mean, it's not inexpensive. It's not a Ruger Wrangler by any stretch. But
well, see, that was next on my list. And it wasn't a SHOT Show introduction. The Wrangler came out a while ago, but they more recently came out with the bird's head configuration of the Wrangler. I got 3 of them. I mean, these things are more fun than, for those aren't familiar, it's 22 rimfire revolvers. They are aggressively priced. There's a million different varieties, traditional single action grips and bird's head grips and different barrel lengths. But no matter which one you get, they're somewhere and this is MSRP of like $210 to $220 or $210 to $230.
And street prices,
which means you're going to get it less for street price. They are more fun, I'll tell you. And they work. They're great little guns. Roy customized one. He took one and made it into a Cadillac revolver, recrowned the barrel and machined the cylinder flats. And
that was in the DIY special. And he did one for me recently, and we're going to be doing a story on it. I haven't figured exactly what the title is going to be, but it's something like the stupidest gun you'll ever see. Because if at retail price, all this work would be over, a couple $1,000s to customize a $200 gun. But, oh, Lordy, they're sweet and they look good and all that.
I could have sent him one of mine.
He'll be happy to do it.
Out here.
He loves doing it. He might be making one for my wife, as a matter of fact.
Nice. Okay, so that one falls in the highly recommended category.
Yes. You
just cannot go wrong with a revolver that works and shoots well for $200.
Actually, I'd forgotten this. Probably 100 episodes ago, Roy and I did an entire episode on a Ruger Wrangler. So we'll have to look that up.
Okay, so listeners, check that one out too.
Yeah, and if you're going to have it customized and spend that kind of money, I want to see pictures of it. So
Roy's Wrangler service. Just send it up there.
Yeah, exactly. So anything else that caught your eye at the show?
I got one more.
Okay.
And I'm saving the weirdest for last.
Of course.
This one's called the Zank RZMK 357. And it is you got to picture this in your head. It is a bullpup revolver.
Okay.
So imagine an auto pistol with kind of almost what looks like an internal cylinder in the back, like at the very back of the slide. It's not internal. It's, it overflows, but the trigger's forward of the cylinder. It's sealed up reasonably well back there.
Yeah.
But to crack this thing open, the whole, I'll use slide for lack of a better word, kind of lifts off forward, hinged up near the front of the barrel. And, you load the cylinder from the rear that way and you snap it down.
So kind of like
the cylinder is kind of behind your firing hand as you use it.
Wow.
Why?
Okay.
I don't know, but why not?
I guess.
Actually, I got a reader mail not too long ago. Somebody was commenting on some project like this, one of these just crazy things. And he said, why do we do this? And he said, because we're handgunners. And that's why it's okay. And you know what? He's absolutely right.
Yep.
So
that's why I try not to hate on anything unless it's unsafe, because I don't like it, And on that same note, I just worked on some Crossfire today, the reader letters, and we had a story, I think 2 issues ago, about handgun hunting, and Mark Hampton, who writes for both our magazines. And if you don't know, Mark is, I would say personally, he's one of the top handgun hunters in the world. This guy, and he's not independently wealthy, by any stretch. And he goes every place, including the places you're not supposed to go, and hunts everything you could ever imagine. Well, he wrote a story about guns for big bulls, and it had pictures of all the Cape buffalo and water buffalo and buffaloes that he's taken with handguns. And a guy got upset and said, well, those aren't handguns, and you shouldn't have to use shooting sticks. And that was kind of what I told him, that I disagree with you. You know, if even though it may not be your cup of cordite, that doesn't make it less legitimate or, you know, any different than anything else. And being able to stand up when you've got a Cape buffalo looking at you and you're holding a bolt action handgun, that's hunting good and fine and honorably, as Hemingway would say.
So, you know what? We might have to get Mark to check out one of these Magnum Research Thunder Snubs.
That would be true. Yeah.
He's probably cursing us right now. It's like, y'all better send a big pair of gloves, right?
I was going to say, what if we like mess up his arm to the point that he can't travel the world and take all this exotic game? Could you take that like on a hog hunt? And you know,
oh, can you imagine? Oh my gosh. You
imagine showing up and telling the guy, so what gun are you using? Oh, a snub nose. What?
It's my snubby.
Yeah.
3.5 pounds.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy. Well, okay, let's finish with the big picture question. What do you think the status of the revolver is in the modern world in terms of the industry? How does it feel? Are they slowly dying off like us?
Hey.
Is it like us? I feel like there's going to, any day, there's going to be a new resurgence.
There already is. And I kind of base that on a number of inputs. One, look at the new stuff we're seeing hitting the market this year. Yeah. New variations, new varieties, new calibers, all of that. I get the most frequent reader mail I get, and this would apply to both online stories, newsletters, and the magazine itself, are Revolver fans, and they're not all 60 plus Revolver guys.
Right.
There are a lot of younger folks kind of appreciating the joys. You know what? I think it's kind of like cars. I think if you appreciate engineering and, clever, cool, well-built mechanical stuff, what's not to love about a revolver?
Exactly.
Sure, a Glock holds 3 times as many bullets in it, but that's not the only criteria for making a handgun interesting.
Yep.
Defense is one application. And, nobody's sneezing at a revolver for defensive use, right? So I don't know. I see tons of interest. I mean, it's our most popular newsletter. I think we have 7 different newsletters going out now every week. And Wheel Gun Wednesday is the number one.
Well, I always like to point out, of all the big name guys in the concealed carry, tactical kind of world, you know what most of them carry either as a primary or as a backup? They carry a wheel gun. So, I mean, one or two might be a thing, but when most of them are doing it, it's caught my eye before. When you start talking about it, they pull out a little J-frame or something, and that's my backup. Well, a lot of guys do.
You know what my input for this trend data is? Tiger McKee. He's writing more and more about revolvers and wheel guns.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of good stuff out there, and I don't know that other publications are necessarily ignoring revolvers, but kids, if you like wheel guns, you have a home here with American Handgunner magazine and Guns magazine. So we'll keep reporting on them as long as you guys keep wanting to read about them. So,
yep.
Well, Tom, thank you for this putting up with my voice or lack thereof, and doing all that research while I was working. You were out frolicking on the floor of the shot.
All work.
We got to be careful. We may have to get real jobs one of these days. So, well, anyway, thanks for talking to us, and we will talk to you sometime in the near future.
Sounds good.
Always have fun with Tom, and if you buy any of the guns we talked about, make sure and drop us a line. If you enjoyed this episode, check out the episode that Tom and I talked about, number 122, about the Ruger Wrangler. You could also take a listen to episode number 124 on buying a used revolver, or finally, episode 161, where Roy Huntington and I talk about Bizarro single-action army revolvers. If there's a topic you want to hear, somebody you want us to interview, or you want to share your thoughts, please drop me a line. That's editor@gunsmagazine.com. As always, you can subscribe to us on your favorite podcast directory, such as Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Audible, and several others. And you can always get the latest episode on YouTube and at gunsmagazine.com. At the same time, please subscribe to the Gun Cranks audio podcast on those same directories, or you can watch it at the Gun Cranks YouTube channel. I'd also ask you to visit our great sister publications, American Handgunner Magazine at AmericanHandgunner.com, AmericanCop.com, and take a look at our numerous special editions available for sale on our websites and at Amazon. And finally, I'd like to remind you to visit our sponsor, 4 Patriots. You can find out more about their food kits and other preparedness supplies at 4patriots.com. That's the number 4, the word Patriots, and .com. And please remember our sponsor, iPal. Visit them at ipalusa.com. Well, that's it for this episode of the Guns Magazine podcast. For the entire staff at FMG Publications, I'm Guns Magazine editor Brent Wheat. Now get out there and get shooting.